From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network, Troy, Alabama's International University, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for December 1st, 2017. I'm Anna Kate Patterson.
And I'm Seth Hawk. Thank you for joining us this evening. The Sorrel College of Business brought a little international flair to Bibb Graves Hall this morning. Paige Weeks shows us why.
Exploring foreign countries, tasting international cuisines? It sounds like you would have to leave Troy to do that. But some students did it without having to step foot off campus. The Sorrel College of Business hosted an international trade show Friday afternoon with students representing 9 countries from around the world. It was the final project for the Managing in a Global Business Environment class.
I've met these people in my classes and learned a little bit, but you learn more now actually being able to see things and actually read things about these different countries.
Students created booths and provided pictures, music, and even food in order to entice people to stop by and learn about their assigned country.
We made the Austrian chocolate balls, and I found a recipe that's like an authentic Austrian recipe, and so we did our best to make it the way that they would there.
For many students, this assignment was more than just trying to get a good grade. For one student, it was an opportunity to debunk some of the misconceptions that people have about his own home country.
People ask me about it because not everyone is familiar with Argentina. So to me it was like a very, very nice experience. And students come back with like a whole different idea of what South America and Argentina is.
And it was lessons like that students were able to learn and will be able to use in the future. Paige Weeks, Troy TrojanVision News.
The instructor for the class says he hopes to make the trade show an annual event for the Sorrel College of Business.
Troy's international side is regularly on display every Thursday night as either Tea for Troy or the International Students Cultural Organization spotlights countries represented at Troy. Both groups combined forces last night for their last event of the semester. Antonio Reese has the story.
I'm from Tunisia, North Africa.
Troy University students had the opportunity to take their minds off upcoming finals Thursday night as they listened to a presentation on the country of Tunisia during the ISCO and Tea for Troy crossover event.
Well, first we're going to have a presentation by Amna. She's from Tunisia and she'll be talking about her culture. She'll have food for us and a display of books and as well as a dress from Tunisia.
Troy student Amna Jouini led a presentation on her country and gives insight into her experience as an international student on campus.
I presented my country, Tunisia, and I focused about the culture in there and how the spirit and diversity and its people, and because it's so influenced by Europe, by the Turkish Empire, and by the Arab culture as well. Since I'm a student who travels a lot, United States been really different at first because people are different, the way they act, the way they speak. So it took me like a little time to like get used to it, and then like it's totally fine.
This was the last ISCO meeting for the fall semester, and one Troy student reflects on what has been her favorite part about ISCO throughout the semester.
I would say that for me the best part definitely the ISCO festival, because we put so much work and effort on it, and it's just amazing to see all of these talented from different places come together and present on our show.
Antonio Reese, Troy TrojanVision News.
ISCO and Tea for Troy will resume their Thursday night meetings in the spring semester. Opera shows may seem as overly complicated and hard to follow for those unfamiliar with the art form.
But the Troy University Opera Workshop's version of Dido and Aeneas seeks to reach all audiences, even opera newcomers. Nathaniel Rodriguez has the story.
Troy University's Opera Workshop has finished its final rehearsal for its performance of Dido and Aeneas on Saturday at 5 p.m. The opera revolves around Aeneas, Prince of Troy, and Dido, the widowed queen of Carthage.
She's trying to protect her heart, but then there comes this Trojan prince who wants her hand in marriage, and then they would like to fix both Troy and Carthage's reputations, so a royal marriage is the best way to do that. However, you'll see the sorcerers and the witches have another plan in mind.
Opera Workshop director Christy Amundsen said several elements were added to the opera to enhance the atmosphere, such as harpsichord and string accompaniment. The performance also features several dances performed by dance faculty member James Boyd and professional dancer Adrian Hicks.
James dances as sort of a shadow to Aeneas, and then as Aeneas is singing, James dances out the emotion, and Adrian represents Dido. So the two share the love story through dance.
Amundsen also said Dido and Aeneas is a good introduction to the world of opera.
If you haven't seen an opera before, this is short. It's less than an hour. There's lots to listen to look at, to enjoy the dance, to listen to the strings. The singers are beautiful.
The performance will take place in the Long Hall Dance Studio and will be free to the public, but the Opera Workshop is accepting donations for Toys for Tots from anyone who's interested. Nathaniel Rodriguez, Troy, TrojanVision News. Once again, Dido and Aeneas will be performed in the Long Hall Dance Studio at 5 p.m. on Saturday.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Sports. I'm Sarah Drake. Last season, only 9 yards and 22 seconds stood between the Trojan football team and a 6th Sun Belt Conference championship. But a pass for no gain and an incompletion later, Troy left Georgia Southern's Paulson Stadium empty-handed. Almost 1 year later to the day, the Trojans will get a second chance at its 6th Sun Belt title and first under head coach Neil Brown as the team travels to Arkansas State for a winner-take-all showdown Saturday evening. Troy and Arkansas State have combined to win 10 out of the last 11 Sun Belt Conference championships, as Troy won 5 straight from 2006 to 2010, and Arkansas State has claimed the title in 5 of the last 6 years. The game pits one of the top offenses in the nation against one of the nation's top defenses, as Troy boasts the nation's number 10 scoring defense and Arkansas State the nation's number 9 scoring offense. The Trojans entered the showdown as one of just 2 teams in the country to have not allowed more than 24 points in a game this season, and senior Seth Calloway talks about why the team is focusing on going 1-0 Saturday.
I think we definitely, like if you do handle your business day to day and then you go to the game and you're well prepared that way so you can play. I mean, the game has to be played and won before we become conference champions, so you can't do like we did last year, kind of expected to win and expected we were going to be conference champions, and then it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. So you definitely just look at each day.
Kickoff is set for 6:35 p.m. and the game will be televised live on ESPN2, and the Troy Sports Radio Network will have full coverage beginning at 4:30 p.m. The women's basketball team will look to compete in Trojan Arena for the first time in nearly 3 weeks tonight as they host Jacksonville at 6 p.m. The Trojans rebounded from their first loss of the season with a resounding 95-66 victory at Tennessee State on Monday, and Jacksonville is looking to bounce back from a 69-59 defeat at Florida on Tuesday. The Dolphins are led by senior guard Brandy Bew with 12.1 points per game. Bew torched the Trojans for 27 points in last year's meeting between the schools. However, Troy leads the overall series 10-6, and once again, tip-off from Trojan Arena is set for 6 p.m. On Tuesday, the men's basketball team will put their 3-game winning streak on the line as they welcome in rival UAB for their final home non-conference game of the season. And head coach Phil Cunningham says the team will have to try and find a way to keep up with the Blazers.
I've always thought of UAB as a really strong traditional program, and they are. They're a really good team right now. They've got a bunch of veteran players on that team, and they've had our number, and we've got to figure out a way to try to be in the game with them, and it'll be interesting from our standpoint to see what happens with Jordan. Obviously, he makes us a lot better team.
The game is scheduled to tip off from Trojan Arena at 7 p.m. and will be available to watch on ESPN3 and listen to on the Troy Radio Sports Network.